for having me. It's been a long flight, and I'm sorry if I'm a little tired, but a little lipstick will help with that. And I also want to say congratulations. We are absolutely following what's happening here. We're inspired by what you're doing, but more so we're inspired by your courage, your absolute bravery to bring together a new alliance of left forces that could potentially change the world. This is incredible. I come with greetings from the United States, which I should say, I come with greetings from the internal colonies of the United States. In 2013, we began an organizing project called Black Lives Matter. And we did that after George Zimmerman was acquitted in the murder of a 17-year-old child named Trayvon Martin. Of course, Trayvon was not the first Black child to be murdered by vigilantes or by police, but certainly Trayvon Martin struck a chord throughout our country because he was a child who was murdered in his community, and he was also a child who was then demonized and blamed for his own death. Black Lives Matter began as a hashtag, and people talk a lot about the power of social media, but what I want to say to you this afternoon is that it's really the power of organizing, not just the power of social media, that has spread a message that Black lives must matter if we are to transform not only the beast of the United States, but if we are to transform this world. Black Lives Matter began as a call and response. It is a response to the virulent anti-Black racism that plagues not just the United States, but plagues the world. And it is also a response to state-sanctioned violence in all of its forms. Oftentimes, when you might hear about Black Lives Matter, you hear about the police. But I also want to talk with you this afternoon about the carceral state. I want to talk with you about how austerity impacts Black communities. I want to talk with you about how immigration impacts Black communities because there are Black migrants. And I also want to talk with you about the fact that Black Lives Matter is a call to action. It is a call that says that this is our time, this is our freedom call, and that our task as Black people, as leftists, is to rebuild a vibrant Black liberation movement that can transform this world. Now there's a lot that I want to say, but I've got 10 minutes and maybe less. So, the first thing I want to talk a little bit about is just the characteristics of a growing movement. We are 2 years old in this form, but certainly the Black freedom tradition is long. It's hundreds and hundreds of years long. In fact, the Black freedom tradition began when Black people were brought to the United States enslaved. When we think about what our vision is for the future, what the vision of Black Lives Matter is for the future, we have to remember that so much of the time, as leftists, as socialists, we tend to privilege a class struggle over anything else. But yet this helps to contribute to the reproduction of the inequalities that we face. There is not a separation from the class struggle of race and patriarchy. Lives Matter, we say that Black people are the canaries in the coal mine. What is happening to us will eventually, and is increasingly, happening to everyone else. In a world that has been shaped by slavery and colonialism, we have to understand that the war on Black people is a war on everyone. This morning I had the privilege of doing a radio interview with BBC, and I was exhausted, y'all, because I had been on a plane for several hours. And the radio host, he says, well, don't all lives matter? I was like, I thought we only did that in the US. So I'll say it again here in Scotland. yes, all lives matter, and you can tweet that. But how can we say with a straight face that all lives matter when 2.5 million people in the United States are in prisons and jails, and 1 million of those people are black? How do we dare to say that all lives matter when 1 in 6 black men are incarcerated in the United States as of 2001? How do we dare to say that Black Lives Matter when 1 in 3 black men will spend jail time or prison time in their lifetimes? How do we dare say that all lives matter when 1 in 8 black men in their 20s are in jail on any given day? And of course, this doesn't just impact black men, because black women are 3 times more likely to be in jails and prisons than white women. And what is that for? For crimes of survival. How do we say that all lives matter when 35% of black children in the United States live in poverty? And these are not just US statistics. In the United States, we say that every 28 hours a black person is murdered by police, vigilantes, or security guards. My comrades in Brazil tell me that it's every 6 hours. Comrades in South Africa tell us that it's over and over again. Comrades in Colombia, comrades in Spain. This is not just a US problem. Racism is a global problem. Anti-black racism is a global problem. So how can we say with a straight face that all lives matter? At Black Lives Matter, we are trying to force the question on 2 sides. One side is, will the left finally acknowledge that anti-black racism is a front of struggle for us? And we are also trying to force the question on the right.